Hi, everyone. How are you doing? Hi, Magenta. Good to see you. I'm doing really well. I hope you're having a good day as well. We just got home from homeschool co-op a few minutes ago, probably about 20 minutes ago, actually. And so I just jumped on and wanted to look into some of the cases that we have covered in the past. And Athena Strand had an update. They actually indicted Tanner Horner for kidnapping murder at this point. Yes, it breaks my heart too, but I will say one of the things that you're not saying I so you don't get typed out. Hi, Nicole. How are you? I will say that one of the things that I was happy to see with the indictment is that there are no sexual abuse charges that come from this case anyways. I mean, he has other charges that are not related to her, but I was glad to find out that, there's nothing. Thank God he didn't do anything. I mean, he did horrible things to her, like he murdered her, but thank God he didn't also sexually assault her in the process. Hi, Ramblin' Rome. Yeah, me too. I hope he fries. And that's one of the things I was gonna like kind of look back over her case a little bit because I wasn't sure how many of you guys are gonna know and know like the whole case. So hi Seal, how are you today? So but I know everybody's kind of having a crazy day. It is Friday. I am thinking I'm thinking later on this evening that I'm gonna do a fun stream. I think I'm gonna tell my husband I need to because it's just been a crazy week for me. I don't know. I got to de-stress a little bit. And so I was thinking that tonight we will do something kind of relaxed and just chill for a little bit. So thank you to everyone who is coming in. Hello, lurkers. Put a one in the chat if you're a lurker. Just kidding. Just kidding. Okay, so let me get this up here. We will look at these charges here first. How do you mean? Hmm. Oh my goodness. Here it goes. Hi, Kimberly. How are you? Ramblin'. Ramblin', you don't lurk all the time. You know what, though? We do have some I know that lurk, and then I know that we have a huge replay crew. Um, especially right now. I know everyone is so invested in the Alex Murdaugh case, and it's just not one that I have been really that into. But I know that there are some people who will not tear themselves away from this trial. They are extremely invested. I get it. I totally understand. But I do appreciate everyone who has been coming still to replay watch. Our chats themselves have been a little bit smaller through this court case, but honestly, we're still hitting almost just as many views because my replay viewers are strong. So if you're here watching on the replay too, I love you guys so much. Everybody who tries to stay faithful and follow these cases through. No, no one is ever overly chatty. I'm gonna tell you what, chattiness is what we need. We need lots of communication and questions and everything else in the chat. Like it helps us so much whenever we're sitting up here talking to ourselves. Um, it is so, so nice to have people that interact and talk and stuff. And so we appreciate you, Ramblin' Rome. But I also understand completely the lurking side of things because I put stuff on and I will sit and listen. And I can't always have my hands involved or even my eyes for that matter, because oftentimes I am doing all the things, right? And so I just listen. I listen. Yeah, they're probably at work too, cray cray. Right. Yeah, daytime streams are rough. I know. All the things, but it's okay because we get a ton of replay watchers. You have the trial on the TV and you're listening to it live on your phone. Yes. Yes, yes, yes. Okay, so let me get into this, guys. It says Athena Strand, Tanner Horner, man accused of killing Athena Strand, has been indicted on capital murder charges. Horner was indicted on the charge as well as aggravated kidnapping on Thursday. And Let's play the video. I haven't watched it yet.
Hyundai Santa
No.
Fe versus Subaru Outback. Hyundai Santa Fe.
And we begin with breaking news. We just learned accused killer Tanner Horner has been indicted on aggravated kidnapping and capital murder.
Yeah, Horner confessed that he abducted Athena Strand from her home and killed her a few weeks before Christmas. Let's get to Matt Howerton for more on what he's learned.
Yeah, Chris, Izzy, this was expected, especially since Horner confessed to police that he killed little Athena. The big question now, will the Wise County District Attorney seek the death penalty in this case? Horner, a former FedEx driver, telling investigators he dropped off a package at Athena's home in November that was meant for her, but accidentally backed into the 7-year-old with his delivery van. He then abducted her, killed her, and dumped her body, according to investigators, fearing what consequences might come from the accident.
It is a death penalty state. Yes, cray cray. And this happened in Texas. Exactly, Ramblin' Room. This is Texas. They will they actually kill people there. It's not just you get the death penalty and then you sit in a prison cell for 40 plus years or whatever waiting for the death penalty. Um, they actually will put you to death. So he is so cray cray. That is the one thing. He has been indicted for the capital murder and he has been indicted for kidnapping. There were no sexual assault charges, thank God. I'm really curious to get my hands on the paperwork for this simply because I want to know if investigators were able to get evidence from the van, from the FedEx truck itself, to see if his admission was true. Did he really back into her and then what, panic and kill her? To me, it just seems, I don't know. It seems like if you were afraid she was gonna tell somebody that you hit her with a truck, why would you think that it was better to than murder her? So I'm interested to find out the evidence in this case. I am honestly wondering if this is even going to go to trial. I think that there is a huge possibility that he will plead out once we get to that point. Did you know that Oklahoma still has the option for the firing squad? I did not know that. That is crazy, Ramblin' Rome. I don't think so that would be hard for me. I feel like, the people who would be in charge of the firing squad, the actual people, carrying out the punishment, would that be something that would cause, like, a PTSD or stressful situation on them? Not I'm not worried about what the murderer or whoever it is that's getting the death penalty, what they endure, but I am curious, like, how much would that be on your emotional self? To have to stand there and shoot somebody like that. Um, even I guess at the same time, though, I guess even with lethal injection, there's always someone who who pushes a button. If you had to go, that's how you would choose. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. That's a hard choice.
Hundreds searched for Athena when she couldn't be found. Horner was arrested just days after she went missing. The little girl's death sending shockwaves through Wise County, and support for her family from across the state quickly followed. Tonight, Athena's mother, Maitland Gandy, reacting to the indictment, saying, "I would like to thank the Wise County grand jury for their role in this process. Hearing the facts and circumstances of my 7-year-old daughter's kidnapping and murder was undoubtedly very difficult for them. I want them to know that their work is deeply appreciated." Tanner Horner's indictment is the beginning of a long road through the justice system. I appreciate everyone's continued support and for keeping Athena's name and memory alive. Please take a moment to hug your children and loved ones. No one is promised another day. Very strong words from Maitland Gandy there, Athena Strand's mother. Again, an indictment, just part of the criminal process. It means there's enough evidence in this case to move forward. A trial will be held. As we said, the only unknown tonight, will prosecutors seek the death penalty? We're waiting to hear more on that.
You're right, Posh, that makes sense. That's why they do a full squad so they don't know whose bullet made the kill. That's true. I don't know, still just the act of firing in someone's direction, though, I feel like that would be difficult. I wouldn't personally wanna be on that team, but I guess at the same time, you know, you always have somebody who is in charge of, like, pushing the button or or if it's like the electric chair. You picture some of the movies like flipping that big switch thing down that starts that. I don't know if that's actually how they do it now, but that's how Hollywood shows me they did it. Um, but yeah, I don't know. So he's currently being held in the Weiss County Jail. He has a $1.5 million bond. Police said during the press conference, if you remember, that they do plan to ask prosecutors to seek the death penalty. Now, whether or not prosecutors actually will, I think is going to depend on the evidence that they're able to have and what exactly took place throughout this event. I think, I don't know. I don't know. He does also face 3 additional charges of sexual assault of a child. They are completely unrelated to Athena's case. As far as we know, at this point, he has not been charged with any type of sexual abuse or anything along those lines for Athena herself, just the kidnapping and the murder charges. So, I did wanna watch this press conference again. This is the press conference that they put out whenever she first was located, and, just to really see how much this affected this community, how much it affected this sheriff and everyone around him. And in this press conference is where he stresses that they will be pursuing the death penalty, and so I think it'll be interesting to see if that still happens. Certainly what he did to this child is disgusting and disgraceful, and in my opinion, he probably deserves the death penalty. Not probably, he does. I know that sometimes too, the victims' families play a role in whether they seek that or not. Um, I don't know. I don't know if her parents would push for that or not. So
Yes, I'm Lane Aiken, Sheriff Wise County. I'm sorry. Good evening. We're glad to see y'all here tonight. It's been a really, really tough few days, and I'm very proud of the people who are here who helped us so much to get some resolution, to get some understanding, to provide answers for the families. And these people, we couldn't have done it without that. Could not have done it without them. The Texas Rangers. This is the acting SAC, Jim Dwyer with FBI. And then I've got my chief deputy and captain, enforcement captain here. It was a monumental task. And because of the cooperation, because of us working together, we were able to get the answers. Some of the answers were not the answers that we would have hoped that we would have gotten. And we want to send our condolences out to the family of Athena Strand. Her body was recovered about 2 hours ago, maybe 3, 6 miles that direction. It hurts our hearts to know that child died. So much so that she is on her way now to the medical examiner's office. And there's a Texas Ranger in front of her, and there's a Texas Ranger behind her. This community does not like losing our children. And we could see it because of all the people who came out and helped us throughout this ordeal. It was most meaningful what the citizens did because we have a close-knit group of folks here in Wise County. And it's our pleasure to serve these folks in Wise County, the Rangers, the FBI, and the Sheriff's Office. We're glad that we've had this opportunity, but we're just sad that it didn't end the way that we would hope that it would end. Earlier today, a tip was received. We knew early on in the investigation that there had been a FedEx driver made a delivery in front of the house about the same time that little Athena, 7-year-old Athena, came up missing. And continued good work by this investigative team, they were able to determine that the driver abducted Athena. And from the investigative standpoint, digitally as well as good old interviews, we think Athena died within just a very hour or so, the very hour or so after her departure from her home. This driver is a contract driver, and his name is Tanner Lynn Horner. He's 31 and he's from Lake Worth. He's in the Wise County Jail right now because of the good work of these people and all the folks out there who have helped our EMC, our prosecutors here tonight, the deputies, the highway patrol, the citizens. He's in our jail, and he's in our jail being charged with capital murder, aggravated kidnapping, and his bond is $1.5 million at this time. We thank again the community, and I guess at this point we'll take questions.
Was her body found on that 5599 where you were at earlier?
You want to answer that? No, it was on another county road about 6 miles. We don't really want to release that address right now, but it was 6 miles further from here, so it's probably 3 miles past that. It's southeast of Boyd.
Was the driver actually delivering a package to that home?
Yes, sir, he was.
So she was abducted from her home, from the front of her home?
The driveway is about 200 yards or so probably pretty close to her gate.
What leads you to believe that she passed away within an hour of leaving home?
There's digital evidence as well as interviews that causes us to believe that.
How was the driver located?
You want to answer that question? Would you like to answer that question?
There were a number of investigative steps that have taken course along the way. The sheriff mentioned the digital evidence that was there, and we were able to work through that digital evidence and through partnerships with FedEx in order to help assist with locating him and finding him this afternoon.
Can you tell us more about his prior criminal history?
I don't know the answer to that question at this point.
When you talk about that digital evidence, do you mean ring camera videos, surveillance camera videos?
I think the investigation is still unfolding at this point, and I think we'll leave the specifics in terms of what that is there. But right now we're on behalf of the FBI, I'd also like to offer my condolences to the Strand family and to the Wise County community as well. The partnerships with the Texas Rangers and with the gentleman behind us, the sheriff from Wise County, were truly remarkable and truly helped to bring some closure to that family today. And we know that they're hurting, but we do offer our deepest condolences to them.
Is just one person that you believe is responsible?
That is currently the understanding, yes.
And what led you to that location where her body was recovered?
Sheriff, you.
I can address that. It was because of the work of the Rangers.
Hyundai Santa Fe versus Subaru Outback.
I have no idea what just happened. Yeah, he had a predator charge as a FedEx driver. That's not going to go over too well. Yes, this case shows why facts matter. Absolutely, Denise. Everyone attacked this poor stepmom. Not everyone. We didn't attack this stepmom, but so many people attacked the stepmom, and the dad was sus and like all these things, oh, he went on a hunting trip the same day that this happened. Like he probably took her body, and like all the things were getting thrown around. And it was the freaking FedEx driver. The FedEx driver of all people, like you would not suspect, living in the middle of nowhere, like being in this rural area, everybody knows everybody and all the things. And the FedEx driver, like never in a million years would have thought that. I don't know if the clip ended there or what happened. So I do apologize for the second half of that press conference, but we got through the bulk of it. to show kind of what they were talking about whenever everything initially happened. Um, one thing that he does say is that he's gonna push for the death penalty. I think that might have been I don't know what happened. So they are actually suing FedEx. I have the documents here for what they are suing FedEx for. The lawyers for her mom and her dad are suing. And so I can read you guys those affidavits for the arrest warrants, or not, sorry, not the arrest warrants, but the actual lawsuit if you are wanting to hear. Stepmom didn't hit her. Right. Stepmom did not hit her stepdaughter with a FedEx truck. No, this creep did. How are you, Mick? Um, and that's the thing. Like, we have to let these cases play out. Like, we can't just jump in and throw accusations at people and everything else whenever all these things are going on. And that's why we always try to be very careful to stick close to the facts and what we do know. So this first one is from their representative versus Big Topspin and FedEx Ground Package System. And this one is, let me see. This is the defendant's answer. Let me see. Okay. Are they the same? Mhm. No. Okay. So this one says, to the honorable judge of said court comes now Big Topspin Incorporated, the defendant, one of the defendants in the above entitled numbered cause of and action of files this original answer and would show the court and jury the following. As a rule by Rule 92 of the Texas Rules of Civil Procedures, defendant enters a general denial of all matters pled by the plaintiffs and requests that the court require the plaintiffs to prove their charges and allegations by a preponderance of the evidence as required by the Constitution and laws of the state of Texas. Pleading further in the alternative and subject to the pleas herein, without waiving the same, the defendant would show that the incident and damage which formed the basis of this lawsuit were solely and proximately caused by the intentional criminal acts of a third person, namely the defendant Tanner Horner. So what happened is the family filed this lawsuit against these companies for employing this guy who killed their daughter. And this is the company's response, saying that there is no way that they could have known that he was going to do this, basically. And they said, and were in no way conducted within the course and scope of the defendant's employment at the time that he engaged in his criminal acts. So basically, you know, we didn't know he was going to kill her. We didn't know this was going to happen. And nothing that he was doing throughout his normal job would have resulted in him needing or doing this murder, basically. So as such, the criminal acts of defendant Horner constitute a new and independent cause as that term is defined and where the immediate and sole cause of the incident and damage complained in this lawsuit. Pleading further with regards to the claims asserted in exemplary damages and without waiving any other future defenses regarding exemplary damages, defendant specifically denies that they committed any wrongdoing whatsoever that would justify the imposition of exemplary damages as requested by the plaintiff. The defendant asserts further that they, aren't responsible, basically. So further answering, the defendant would show that the plaintiff must prove actual malice and or gross negligence on the defendant by part of unanimous verdict and by clear and convincing evidence in order to recover any punitive damage, and must recover actual general damages, if any, before being entitled to any punitive damages. Additionally, said punitive damages in any are subject to the limitations of the Texas Civil Practice and Remedies Code and Texas Constitution. So they hereby give actual notice to the plaintiff and co-defendant that any and all documents produced may be used against them at any pretrial proceeding or the trial of this matter without the necessity of authenticating documents. I am honestly going to tell you guys, I'm kind of shocked that Big Tops and FedEx didn't just settle out of court on this. Hi, Pointer Lover. How are you? Good to see you. I know you're a replay viewer. I have a ton of replay viewers. I love my replay audience. I do appreciate everybody who's able to come in person though, because it's kind of more encouraging to whenever you're live streaming to have an audience that's engaged and interacting and here. Yeah, don't they have insurance for hitting the little girl than a kidnapping due to a truck incident? You would think so, but like, so I can see where FedEx and Tops are coming from saying, like, listen, it wasn't, I mean, how could they have predicted this? There was nothing in his actual criminal background check that would have been like, this guy's a murderer or that he has this evilness inside of him. Like, there was nothing on his background that said that. And so, whenever you look at that situation, they're not fortune tellers. There is nothing that FedEx or Tops, in my opinion, could have known that this was going to happen. Now, had he already had the child sexual abuse charges against him that are alleged from previous years, um, then it would make sense not to hire him or whatever. They still need to vet their contracting companies better. Yeah, but how do you do it? I mean, if there's nothing actually on their record, how do you know that they're going to be a bad guy? Hi Jax, how are you? I don't know if I already said that. I feel like I read your name, but I don't know if I actually said it. And so I can understand why they're fighting this. Now, if he had some type of, let's say that there was people complaining about him at work, or he had like harassment complaints or anything that would indicate that he may be violent, maybe that could have like potentially got him fired before this incident, then I can understand there being a case for this, which we don't know. I have no idea what Jacob Strand's representation has been able to dig up about Tanner Horner's past or about his employment. I know that there has been several people who have come forward alleging that they have worked with him and had issues with like sexual harassment and things like that. But did that ever get turned into his job site? He had traffic charges. But his traffic charges, if I remember correctly, Seal, were failure to keep car insurance. Like he got in trouble for that. It wasn't an actual moving violation. All of his charges, from what I remember, are like failure to pay his car insurance and like failure to pay registration, I think it was. And so neither one of them were moving violations. Very true, Boo Will. Evil is everywhere in all uniforms. Right. Right, right. Where did that just pop up at? So you saw a girl on Facebook. Right. And so, Jax, if that would have been brought to us or brought to the police earlier, if that would have actually been pursued earlier and people would have believed her, then it would make sense. Then it would make a lot more sense that they wouldn't have been able to hire him or whatever. But I did see that too, and I believe that now she has pending charges against him. I'm pretty sure that that's the three charges that the other criminal case is referring to. Hmm. I felt terrible for her whenever I was reading it because she had said like she was basically screaming from the rooftops like, hey, this guy did this to me and nobody wanted to listen. And then you get to this situation where all these years down the road this happened and she's like, I told you people he did this to me. Like, do you want to believe me now? And you can't get mad at her for her anger. Because I would be just as angry. I would be just as angry. Think about all the people that he could have potentially harmed over those years because nobody listened to the accusations against him. Mm. Mhm. So, yeah, a speeding ticket doesn't mean that you'll kill a child, right? They're not speeding at running red lights or stop signs. It's sad that no one believed her, right? That's why women don't report. I know how shitty that. Yeah, it does. It feels awful to not be believed. And part of the problem with that is there are so many people who do make false accusations out of malice because they're in a fight with their loved one, or they break up with a guy and they want to make false accusations against him, or custody disputes, and then the women make false accusations or men make false accusations, whichever way, towards a boyfriend or whatever of the other significant other. Like, there are so many different situations where there could be false accusations thrown around. And I just want to tell people, stop doing that, because all that does is it makes people who do have these horrific things happen to them, they get more hesitant to come forward, because our automatic response is oh, well, not ours, but people's automatic response is, oh, well, is it really true? Like, did they actually do that? And the questioning and stuff like that that comes from so many false cases. And that goes for missing too. I just want to say, we had that case, Lynn Kim. Let me pull this up real quick. Let me get you guys her picture. Lynn Kim was quote unquote missing, and her friend was speaking out for her, saying hey guys, this is horrible. This is not in her character. She went with this guy. Hold on one second. Sorry about that. But so she was missing, and her friend was like, this is not good, all of these things, right? And her friend was really the only one who was speaking out for her. Like, the family was, but they weren't. And honestly, it still hasn't even been updated on the news yet. But she's not actually missing. They have located her. She has spoke to the police now. And it's one of those situations where she probably should have made it clear to her family that she wanted to start a new life and that she wanted to move on, and that she wanted to go do her own thing, and that she was leaving her family behind, basically. I mean, this is a gone girl situation. She packed her stuff, she shut her phone off, she left with this new guy, and that's it. That's it. That's all. She does not want she's just done. 3 kids. She's just done. She just up and left. And it's frustrating for people like me, because we're covering these cases, we're trying to raise awareness for the missing. We have this whole community that cares and wants to help and try to raise awareness for the missing and things like that. And whenever you have all of this energy and news articles, this woman had so many news articles and people sharing her flyers and all the things, and she just left on her own. And what that does is it discredits all of these adults that do disappear, that didn't leave on their own, that potentially had some type of foul play happen to them, or teenagers, young adults, whatever. Think back to Naomi Irion. And so, they tried to tell everybody that Naomi Irion was just a Gone Girl situation, and look, she was brutally murdered. And so I just hate it. I hate false reporting whenever it comes to stuff like that. I hate false accusations. And then I hate the people who don't just make it clear to their family that they're just going to walk away. Adults have the right to leave. They have the right to go start their own lives and do their own things. But I don't know. I wish there was some type of thing that we could do to hold people accountable whenever resources and stuff get wasted. Yeah, false reporting is such a terrible thing to do. People that do it should be charged. I agree. Offenders have to continue to offend multiple times before anyone is believed in cases. Not all, but yeah, it does happen. It does happen. And that's another thing too with cases like the young lady who said that she was hurt by him and she wasn't believed. Do we get so cold because we see so many people who were just okay, who were just not actually hurt and they were lying and they were bitter or whatever, that the general atmosphere gets to a place where how do we believe anyone? You're not always going to have this huge amount of physical proof. You're not always going to have this like cut and dry story where you can just show people what happened. Stuff does need investigated. But I don't know. We've talked about this too, even whenever it comes to like child abuse cases and things like that. How do we make it so that false reports are held accountable, but then you also don't make it so that people don't want to report because they're afraid that they're going to get held accountable if it's not believed? Does that make sense? Like, how do you make sure that the woman who really did get raped or really did have something terrible happen to her, how do you make sure that she's not going to be afraid to say anything out of fear that she doesn't have enough evidence to prove it and then she could get herself charges? Right? And so it's like a very fine line about how they're able to conduct these investigations and really find out who is telling the truth and who is lying. We always want to believe the women who come forward. I will believe any victim anytime. But then you get into this sketchy situation where what if it's your husband or your brother or your cousin or whatever that was accused and it's not true and it's just someone who's bitter against them? It's a very, very fine line. Very fine line. So, I don't know. Let me see. NBC Dallas just put out an article, so let's look at this one. Been in both places before. It's not good or easy. Yeah, Boo Will. It's rough. Hmm. I feel like in some situations we constantly are worried about privacy and things like that, and nobody I don't think wants to really mandate for more government supervision or control of us or whatever. But at the same time, you look at places like the UK or places where they have, a lot more cameras and a lot more monitoring of their public places and things like that. And do they really have as much crime as what we do here in the US? Is it, I mean, it doesn't seem like it's anywhere near as much because you can just go look at the cameras and see who was there.
In the kidnapping and killing of Athena Strand, the November death of the first grader from Paradise, Texas, a story that made national headlines. NBC5's Ben Russell live in the newsroom this midday with this new development, Ben.
We should tell you, Evan, the grand jury indicted Tanner Horner on 2 charges, capital murder and aggravated kidnapping. That makes this a potential death penalty case. This goes back about 3 months when this little girl, Athena Strand, was first reported missing back on November the 30th and was then later found dead 2 days later. 31-year-old Tanner Horner is a FedEx delivery driver who delivered packages to Athena Strand's house. He confessed to police after the fact that he'd accidentally hit her with the truck, panicked that she would tell her parents. So Horner told police he took Athena away, killed her with his bare hands. It is not yet clear if that is in fact what happened. And just before 10 last night, Athena Strand's mother released this statement through the Tarrant County District Attorney's Office. It reads, "I would like to thank the Wise County Grand Jury for their role in this process. Hearing the facts and circumstances of my 7-year-old daughter's kidnapping and murder was undoubtedly very difficult for them. I want them to know that their work is deeply appreciated." Tanner Horner remains in the Wise County Jail as we speak. And as we said, police have told prosecutors they want the death penalty in this case if he is convicted. Evan.
Okay, Ben live in the newsroom. Ben, thank you.
Savannah, I am so sorry that happened to you. She said, I was terrified to report when I was R at 17. I did anyway and testified it against him face to face in court. They investigated and interrogated me so bad it made me look like I asked for it. That is awful. That is absolutely awful. But I am so proud of you for at a young age like that standing up for yourself and helping that creep get justice. I really hope that you were served justice for all that and that he went to jail. He's a high-level SO and required to register, yet never does. Caught living next to a school and was exonerated. Wow. I think I'll ever get yeah, he won't ever do it. They do not enforce it. That's so sad. That's so sad, and I feel like there's so many people who are going through similar things like, that just don't I mean, look at California, for example. Right now, they are having people who sexually offend and are back on the streets within 48 hours a lot of times. They released 1,500 sexual offenders within the last couple months. Last year, maybe? I can't even remember. We talked about it though, and it's just so gross. Wow. Oh, wow, Boo Will. I'm so sorry. A stock police officer. It is. It is disgusting, Pointer Lover, what they put victims through. It used to be innocent, like it's innocent until proven guilty, but you don't realize how much that affects the victims of these crimes. Y- Not just whenever it comes to like sexual offenses or assault or whatever, but whenever you look at cases like for instance, Gannon Stauch's trial is coming up, and Gannon Stauch's sister and his stepsister are going to have to sit on that stand and testify against his stepmom, like for what she did to them. And it not only do they have to testify, but they have to remember what they have to say for all the years leading up to the trial. Dylan Redwine is another case, it took 8 years to get to trial for him. It took 8 years for Mark Redwine to be convicted for his murder. And for 8 years, everybody who was going to have to testify had to remember what they told police during the initial investigation. And they're victims. They're victims too. Why are they releasing them? Because the jails are overcrowded. I get you the article. It was in December. I knew it was like last year, technically. Hold on one second. Here it is. California releases thousands of pedophiles less than a year after their convictions, data show. Thousands of convicted pedophiles in California have been released from prison after spending less than a year in prison, a recent analysis found. Statistics clearly show that pedophiles don't get reformed. They are going to come out and they are going to commit again. Former Los Angeles sex crimes prosecutor Samuel Dordulian told the Daily Mail. Using California's Megan's Law website, the Daily Mail found that there was more than 7,000 sex offenders convicted of lewd or lascivious acts with a child under 14 years of age, released from prison in under a year of being convicted. Letting these people out early, we're allowing for a lot more victimization, and that's terrifying. Additionally, the report found that predators convicted of continuous sexual abuse of a child spent less than a year in prison, as well as 3 cases of convicts who kidnapped kids under 14 with the intent to commit lewd and lascivious acts, and nearly 40 cases of sodomy with a child under 16. The report was based on data from 2019 due to digital blocks that were added to the Megan's Law website that prevents more recent analysis. So they have it backed up, like you can't even see into it. But currently, there are 61,770 sex offenders in California, though it's unclear how many are pedophiles. So in they found that 76% of the offenders, 54,986 of them, committed crimes involving children. Convicted pedophiles in California, mind you, spend an average of 2 years and 10 months in prison. Pedophiles, people who are convicted of sexual acts against children, are getting less than 3 years. 2 years and 10 months in prison on average. What are we doing as a society? Why is this a thing? I don't understand. I don't understand. And then you have cases like this that we were talking about originally, Athena Strand's case, that they're going for the death penalty, hopefully. And so why aren't we consistent across the board? Why are so many cases and so many states receiving a slap on the hand or oh, here's a no-no sticker on your chart. Go back out. Don't do it again. Because that's what it almost feels like. Like we're just holding their hands and escorting them to the next child that they're going to brutalize. For what? Why? What are we thinking? What are we doing? It just makes no sense to me. My kid's dad did 6 years for selling drugs, but did way less time and continue to reoffend. It is, Nicole. Just slaps on the hand. Slaps on the hand. Sorry, my dog's starting to go crazy because my husband just came in. Okay. But there's another article too that says about the 48 hours. Like there were some that were only in for 48 hours. It's just sad. It's just really sad that this is even a thing. Let me see. Sorry, I'm just trying to skim through. And again, we do know now that Athena wasn't sexually assaulted. And so that is good news. But hindsight, how do we stop more crimes from happening to children? Like, what do we do? Like, does there need to be harsher penalties? I think so. I think that there needs to be something where people don't think, "Oh, I'm just going to kill this child because I'm afraid to get fired from my job." Like, what? Are you kidding me? I don't know. Hold on. There was something else I wanted to pull up about her. The one thing I will say too is that her mom seems to be really pushing for change and for her memory to live on in a positive way. Um, she put out a little video with her just unwrapping dolls. I don't know if you guys seen, but in January, they Mattel donated 2,000 plus toys and stuffies to the Cook Children's Hospital, which let me show you guys this post. She's been really advocating for her daughter's memory to live on. It says, if you're not from Texas, you may have missed this blessing. Mattel donated 2,000 plus toys and stuffies, as Athena called them, to Cook Children's Home in Fort Worth, Texas, on Thursday, January 19th, 2023. In Athena Presley Monroe Strand's name and memory for the boys and girls there on Thursday and those to come in the future. Mattel reached out to my attorney's law firm in December and graciously offered to donate toys and gave me the option to pick the location. I chose Cook Children's Hospital because the excellent care they provided to Athena in September of 2022. The second reason, but the reason that means a lot to me, is because not only did the staff provide care and make Athena feel all better in September, they also gave her a cotton candy pink bear, a stuffy. In the last few months of Athena's life, when she came home from her daddy's house, she slept with her pink bear. It became her favorite stuffy. For the 7 years and 6 months that I was blessed to have Athena, I've shared my bed with her and many stuffies. When Rye was born, Mommy's bed was Mommy, Rye, Athena, and many stuffies. The last time I had the opportunity to hug my daughter was November 27th of 2022, and she took the pink bear to Daddy's house. I found it in her room at Daddy's house. Athena's pink bear from Cook's Children's was in her eternal bed when our family said their last goodbye to my daughter and was later cremated with her. I hope the children at Cook Children's Hospital feel a bit of what Athena felt when she got her bear: hope, love, comfort, and excitement. And I pray they know they can be anything they want to be. They are perfect just as they are. And then she included some pictures of the toy donations and some pictures of sweet Athena lying in her bed with her pink bear. Precious angel. Yeah, me either, Jax. I have no clue. No clue. These people who go through such horrific events for their children, with their children, God bless them every day because I could not.
How to sit down. See, this is my seat. How to sit down. I'm going to sit down.
That was from 2019, that one. Yes, Mattel did that. Mattel did that. But I do know that some of these parents, it seems like you get two type of parents whenever you go through this. Whenever we watch these cases, you get the type that are extremely, extremely vocal, and they push for change, and they push for laws, and they push for all of the things. They just come out and they advocate strong for their child. Like, that seems to be how they almost handle the mourning process. Making sure that there's not one more Athena, that there's not one more child that has failed for this reason, that there is not one more incident. And then you have the other side where they can't grasp it, they can't go on, they can't. And so I have a lot of respect for these parents that are able to come out so strongly and advocate and become such a beacon of light almost for their child's name, to make sure that Athena's name moves on in a positive way. Instead of remembering this is why I didn't put this creep on the thumbnail, because I don't want to remember him. I don't want Tanner to become the face that we see whenever we think of Athena. I want this. I want chocolate face ice cream. I want this precious angel to be what we remember, not this creep. Let her face be the one that we see. I know one thing that they've been pushing for too um is the law to pass. Let me see if I can find it. Let me see if I can find her law. You're gonna start hearing the kids in the background, guys. Sorry about that. They're gonna be in and out, so we're gonna curve what and how we're talking a little bit. Mm. see, where is it? Have a great day, Jax. Happy. That's good. Bieber. Hey, Bieber. Uh, maybe Bieber. I know though, I don't know. They might have given the family her dying dignity by not including that charge. It's possible, I suppose. I don't mm, I don't know. It depends on how strong their case is and what exactly they're gonna push for. If they want this creep to be in forever, and if they wanna push for the death penalty and things like that, I'm thinking that it might need to be included eventually. Because I'm not so sure. I mean, and I don't know Texas. I'm not so sure if just the act of what he did is going to be enough to get the death penalty, if that makes sense. And so if that ends up being what they push for, I think the more horrific things that they can add on to his charges, the better in that outcome as far as that goes. How are you, by the way, Bieber? Good to see you. Yeah, he does have the other charge. The only thing about the other charge is that girl was allegedly older than what Athena is or was. You know, she was only 7. The girl that he allegedly harmed was older, like teenage years, I believe. So I'm not sure. I'm not honestly sure. And I know you said you're behind in the stream, but whenever you get to my answers, um, I don't know. I think it's hard to say, honestly. Let's see if I can find it on Google. Yes. Here's the bill that they're proposing for her. And so this is from February 9th. This one says, Texas lawmakers are proposing this bill. It says the kidnapping and killing of 7-year-old North Texas girl has prompted a Denton lawmaker to push for changes to state bail laws. Republican Lynn Stuckey has filed the Athena Strand law to delay the release of people accused of certain crimes when they post bail. The legislation comes after FedEx contract driver was charged with kidnapping and murder of Athena Strand outside of her father's home near Paradise. Our justice system is designed to fairly deliver due process, Stuckey said in a statement. However, the system should also be bolstered to protect child victims from their attackers. I believe all Texans will support protecting our communities and ensuring that we keep dangerous criminals who prey upon our children behind bars. Stuckey said that he had constituents who were appalled to learn that Tanner Lynn Horner, who confessed to Strand's killing, was given the opportunity to post bail. He is in Weiss County Jail on a $1.5 million bond. Weeks after his December 2nd arrest, Horner was charged in an unrelated case with 3 counts of a sexual assault of a child under 17 in Tarrant County, according to the court records. One bill would allow magistrates to delay the release of those who post bail following their arrest for crimes that result in the death or serious injury of a child. The amount they could be held for would be longer for those who have confessed to the crime. A second proposal from Stuckey would let voters decide whether a person jailed the death of a serious injury of a child should be required to have their bail release delayed for up to 30 days if a judge or magistrate makes certain findings. Delaying a bail could give officers more time to investigate a person and their history, said Strand's grandmother, Shelley. The change in the law would also offer victims some comfort and relief as they make funeral arrangements and make changes to their lives, she said. It can give victims time and maybe help heal. Just to know that a person is in jail and that they can't get out. In his statement, Stuckey said the bill does not prevent justice for those accused of crimes. Stuckey was not immediately available for an interview on Thursday. They preserve justice for the victims while allowing the system time to properly investigate the crimes. Representatives with the Tarrant County Criminal Defense Lawyers Association and Texas Criminal Defense Lawyers Association did not immediately return requests for comment. So let's see. In the course of investigating serious crimes against children, officers commonly find after the arrest and jailing of a suspect, additional victims often step forward to report similar abuses that they experienced at the hands of the same suspect, he said. Athena's law, adding to the existing statutes on delayed release of an individual from jail, would allow law enforcement additional time to meet with those who may have been victimized, prepare probable cause affidavits, and seek additional charges against the alleged assailant. So that has been proposed now. Basically, because this guy has bail. I mean, he could bail out. Will he? No, because of his financial situation. But what if this was a rich guy who committed this crime? It would hold that person, that individual, in jail rather than letting him walk the streets and potentially harm another child or another person. And so I totally agree with this. And I think it should be across the board. We shouldn't have these victims who are terrified to come forward or speak up because they're worried about their assailant possibly posting bail and coming after them or whatever. God forbid. God forbid. So, but it still does allow, obviously, while it's being reviewed, the person is in jail and stuff. But it still does allow that person to, I don't know. Yeah. But so that's pretty much it. Sorry, my husband walked past and it made me lose my train of thought. I get squirrel. I get very ADHD sometimes and I'm like, what just happened? As he walked past, I'm like, whoop, there goes my sentence. So, but I don't know. I am so glad that this guy was indicted. That's just the first step. First step of this law. First step of the court hearings and stuff for him. And I honestly believe that he's probably going to plead guilty. I don't think that he is gonna fight this. If anything, maybe, I don't know. Do they have insanity in Texas? I'm worried about mental defect, because there were some rumors out there that he did have some type of handicaps, and honestly, whenever it comes down to it, he was able and capable to work a full-time job. I don't see I don't see how he could get off of his crime just for that. Good luck. Yeah, they do have insanity defenses, but even so, I don't think he could plead insanity or anything like that. I hope he just pleads guilty and doesn't put this family through this, but then again, I don't think he'll plead guilty if they go for the death penalty, though. He'd probably plead for life, maybe. That'd be about the only way, but does her family even want to accept a plea bargain for him, or do they just want justice? Do they just want to see him put to death? Texas is tough, Seal. Yeah, it is tough. But I don't know, guys. So I'm probably gonna stop on again later on this evening. I gotta see what everybody else has planned today. But I do kind of want to just do a relaxing, fun stream and just just chill for a little bit because I know everybody has been going through so much right now. Everybody's been so crazy busy, and it's just a lot. Another thing that I wanted to mention, and if you are interested, please let me know in the comments. But I am going to be looking for some additional moderators. Just as we're growing, and whenever Alex Murdaugh trial is not going on, the chat has been getting larger. And, everybody has life going on. And then some of my moderators I share with several channels. And so I just really need to add a few so that whenever there are multiple lives going on, that people are able to be in attendance basically and help out. And basically all mods do is they come in, they greet the chat. There's all these little commands, like as you see I'll put like the exclamation point and join. It just drops the little how to become a member thing. But just watching, helping hunt for trolls and things like that. So if that's something you're interested in, drop it in the comments. I'm going to put a post, I think, on the community wall too, just looking to see if anybody is interested in becoming a moderator. One thing I do require is I need to have a voice-to-voice chat with you, at least, so that I can make sure who you are. And like, you don't have to tell me your full name or anything, but just to make sure you're not somebody crazy. I know you're so busy, CL. I know. That's just it. Like life is hitting everybody at the same time. And I know right now I am in tax season. So I have been really busy myself, because I do taxes and stuff. And so I know I've been busy, but after April, I do intend to really pick up my streaming a lot more through the summer months and things like that. And so I just need to have people who are willing to help basically for whenever, others can't be here. So I appreciate you all so much. And thank you guys. Yes, life does happen too. Exactly. And I totally understand. Totally understand that life happens. So I just know that we also need help for whenever there is only like one or two that are able to make it. So I love you guys so much. Thank you all for coming. Thank you, viewers. Thank you, everyone who came into chat. And I hope to see you all later. Have a good night, guys. Love you. Bye.